Hey guys, so today I wanted to sit down and make another video for you guys. Before I start anywhere, I just want to say thank you so much for the response on my last video. I was really nervous about uploading it. I honestly didn't think that anybody was gonna watch it. Or maybe like a few people would watch it, like my mom. The response was ridiculous, and I am so incredibly grateful for all of you commenting and just connecting with me, because that's a huge thing that I am totally focusing on when it comes to my life on social media, my presence on social media. So I have a whole list on my phone of videos that I want to make and topics that I want to talk about, because I really want to focus on like doing like specific things that I want to talk about. I've just kind of been inspired by different things. I'm just kind of like, oh, this is something that I want to talk about, and then I'll just put it on the notes section of my phone. So I've been compiling like a whole list of things that I wanted to talk about. This is a video that I felt like I kind of needed to make before I can really move forward and get into any other kind of video. I felt like if I did anything else before this, then I don't know, I would kind of be doing myself a disservice. Basically, I am going to be talking about my anxiety situation. I feel like this is something that definitely needs to be talked about. A lot more people are being very open about their anxiety and depression and mental health and stuff like that. And I think it's great. I think it's an amazing thing. It's not something to be ashamed of. For the longest time, I was embarrassed and ashamed about it because, I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if I really knew what was happening. So something that I've been thinking about a lot recently is the fact that anxiety isn't something that just kind of like popped up in my life. It's not something that just came around after I had Luna. Postpartum anxiety was definitely something that was on another level, I think, added on to lack of sleep, just lack of nutrition, postpartum depression, just everything kind of piled up on top of each other. The anxiety was just like on another level, along with hormones, just crazy stuff going on. But I was thinking about it like a week ago, and I kind of had this like aha moment of being like, I've had anxiety for my entire life. It's interesting to think about it, because things that I kind of would put off as something more like being shy or, you know, just having to get used to people. Now that I've been gaining more knowledge on the subject, I'm really realizing that it wasn't normal. And I use that term very loosely, because what is normal anyway? I think it's natural to experience fear when you're in a new situation. I think a lot of people kind of get that nervousness in the pit of their stomach whenever they're around a new group of people or in a new environment, or something big is about to change in their life or something like that. I just was kind of going back, and this is something that I've been doing when it comes to a bunch of different things in my life, and it's something that I had been avoiding for the longest time, is going back and thinking about how things made me feel, like how I felt in certain situations in my life, certain things that I didn't want to remember in my life. Just understand where I was and how it has affected me now, because everything has affected me and has brought me to where I am now. I wouldn't change anything, because I am so glad to be where I am right now. I guess if I'm gonna describe it, what kind of anxiety I'm trying to describe, it's, I guess, to put it in one word, it's fear. And it's not like a rational fear, this very ominous feeling. And I think that also is connected to the fact that I'm a very highly sensitive person. Highly sensitive people are very affected by outside energies and people and vibes and stuff like that. So I think that definitely has a huge role in the way that I felt in certain situations. Kind of recently, like a month ago, we went somewhere and I noticed that I was nervous beforehand, and I told Chris that. And then we actually ended up not going because I was so nervous. But then I realized that even as we were leaving, I was still nervous. I danced for, gosh, I don't even know, like 16 years. I danced for a long time. And I would get nervous, obviously, before like shows and stuff. I also remember getting nervous before going to class. So something that I would do every day that you would think that I would just kind of like get used to it and it wouldn't be that big of a deal because it was literally the same thing every day, but literally every day before every class, I would get nervous. And when I was younger, before I had Luna, it was definitely something that was more shown as fear of something. It wasn't really, I think there were certain situations where maybe I subconsciously was anxious about something, anything, and it in turn changed into, it showed itself in anger or like rage. And I actually found, I was sorting through stuff because my parents just moved, and I was going through some of their stuff, and they had this letter that I had wrote to them, and it was during a time where my health wasn't great, and I told them that the reason why I was behaving so negatively or like I was yelling or whatever was because I was afraid. And that again kind of had like a click moment in my head where I was like, oh, I keep going back to this like fight or flight thing. And I guess when it comes to like anger, that would be my fight. And when it comes to me being afraid and like leaving a situation or not even wanting to go put myself in that situation, that would be flight. And that's something that I always kind of go back to. So yeah, my anxiety has definitely presented itself as anger. And that's something that has even, it wasn't even necessarily just in my teenage years. It was definitely up until recently. But it was just magnified a lot more after I had Luna. And I never have felt any kind of anger towards her. It's always just been self-induced anger. And then sometimes I would react negatively or angrily towards Chris. Sorry. I guess I'm just kind of like talking and like trying to figure out what's going on with me. I think that's kind of going to be the point of when I make these topic videos. But yeah, after I had her, I just found myself getting angry a lot. And that's something that had like, after you have a baby, your relationship changes anyway. But on top of it, if you have postpartum depression or anxiety, it just brings things to a whole nother level that I don't think anybody is prepared for when they have their first child. Like, I was so hoping, because my pregnancy was kind of like, as far as emotions, it was all over the place. And as far as like my physical pain, it's kind of all over the place. It wasn't the worst thing by far. But it was just kind of like, I was ready to not be pregnant and kind of like be stable, I guess. And I was hoping that my experience would be like, just like extremely positive. Like once I gave birth, I would just be like, ah, yes, finally, I have my body back. Oh, I see Luna and Chris walking outside. Oh, they're so cute. I'm sorry, I almost started crying just now. But I definitely thought that I had all these expectations of what it would be like after I gave birth. And I feel like the majority of those things didn't happen. And I'm not sure if it's just because of my perception of things was negative at that time. I feel like there was just a giant dark cloud over the majority of my postpartum period. I still consider myself postpartum now, even though she's 18 months old. But just like the first, I think like the first 6 months or so was like probably the darkest time. 6 months, 9 months. And I didn't really know why. Like I could grasp the concept that, yeah, I had postpartum depression. I kind of could grasp that I had postpartum anxiety, but I don't think I really understood it at that point, because I wasn't ready to, I wasn't out of it yet, so I couldn't like stand back and look at it from that perspective. There was a lot going on. There was a lot happening, and I was extremely, extremely, extremely hard on myself. And I'm like that when it comes to anything, but especially after I had her. And I talked about it, I think, in like my postpartum video or something like that. But I just wasn't where I thought I should be. I had these expectations of what I thought things should be like, and I wasn't there, so I felt like I was a failure. And that's something that I'm healing in myself. This loathing that I have for things about myself that I can't control. Because like, how many times can you say, oh, love yourself, you know, you're amazing, you are so powerful, you are going to do amazing things. Like, you can say that so many times, you can hear so many people say that to you, and it can just completely go over your head. So it was a really hard time for me, and I know it was definitely a hard time for Chris too. A lot of things were going on with him too. Luckily, Luna, she's amazing. Like, she's been a perfect little angel baby. Of course, she has like a crazy personality. But as far as like her health and stuff like that, she's been like right on track with everything. And I'm so grateful that she has been so amazing, because I was not. I personally was taking the fact that I had no control over anything out on Chris. And that makes me sad, because I mean, I'm sure he had these expectations of what he thought it would be like. A part of me feels bad because I couldn't do that. But then, like, it's not like I was choosing to not do it. So I think just like acknowledging it and moving forward from it, that's all I can do now. My anxiety was like full-fledged just fear of everything. Like, I really didn't leave the house. I was afraid of driving again. I was afraid of making YouTube videos. I was afraid of social media. I was just like afraid of everything. And then angry. Angry at myself. Angry because I was afraid. Angry because nobody told me that this could happen. Angry because I couldn't fix it. I was at that point up until like Luna was like 16 months, so like 2 months ago or so. It's so crazy, because literally hindsight is 20/20. And I'm gonna make a video talking about what I do to help with my anxiety, because that is something that I like. I am so excited to tell you guys about that, because if you deal with anxiety or depression, but especially anxiety, because I know how horrible it is and how it literally can take over your life. Like, I'm a different person now. I know that everybody's like, oh yeah, having a kid changes you and stuff. But like, I've even gone back and watched my old YouTube videos, and I'm like, whoa. Not that I was like a horrible person or anything then, but just like the way that I talk, the way that I carry myself, like my thought process when it comes to certain things, it's just different. It's just completely different. And it's kind of scary, kind of crazy. My sister's texting me. It's kind of scary, kind of crazy how things can so quickly change so drastically. But it's also exciting, because I love it. I'm so just like Yes, I love it. Okay, so this has been a real ramble. I don't know if I'm gonna make a whole video when it comes to depression. I don't know. I feel like that's something that I'm still kind of trying to figure out. It's like an ongoing thing. It's not something that was triggered by my pregnancy or postpartum period. It was before that. I mean, it's always been there. I don't know if I want to make a video about that, but I knew that I definitely wanted to talk about this because this is something that is a huge deal to me. And the fact that I found methods to be able to breathe again is amazing. And like I said, I can't wait to make that video about the things that I do. I want to organize it a little bit more so it's like concise and actually makes sense. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, me kind of sitting, chilling, talking to you guys. I wanted to ask you, if you guys stayed this long to watch this entire video, I want to ask you if you guys would like to see kind of like a life update kind of thing. I know I kind of did that in my last video, but just kind of like going back and talking about different things that we did during the time when I wasn't making videos. I have kind of like a lot of clips and stuff that I can probably compile into a video or something. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. So yeah, I think my goal for myself is to do videos at least once a week. And we'll see where we go from there, because I really want to start making videos again, and this is something that I am like determined to do for myself. That's pretty much it. All my links and stuff are down below in case you're wondering. My Instagram is mainly the only social media that I use right now, so if you guys want to add me on there to talk or anything like that, go ahead. Yeah, just shameless self-promotion, plugging myself. So I know you guys missed this. I will see you guys in my next video. I love you.